I want to bring up something that I believe is important, something that I haven't seen a whole lot of people talking about, especially, with this Olympic controversy, I guess you can call it. Let me just say this right off the bat. Number one, I oppose drag queens 100%. I think it's sickening. I think it's a disgrace. I think anytime you have men that are dressed like that, and especially in front of the entire world, I think it's a disgrace. I think Paris, totally 100%, this Olympic committee dropped the ball. Sickening disgrace. There's no way that you should have grown men dressed or painting their bodies and then covering their private parts with this little. It's sickening. And then you have boys and girls all over the world that is watching this mess. It's 100% appalling to me. Now, if a man wants to dress in drag, go for it. Just don't do it in front of the world. And if the Olympic Committee is so set on, having drag shows and allowing this mess to be portrayed in front of the entire world, then by all means, do it somewhere else. Don't do it with the Olympics. Go and build a building and start your own drag show. It's sickening. But one thing that I find even more appalling than that is the fact that you have men and women that have trained their entire their entire life in order to compete in front of the entire world. You have these gymnastics, these girls and these ladies that have been, performing since they were 3 years old and 4 years old. They've been practicing, and their whole entire life they've been practicing, and they've been dreaming of performing at the Olympics. You have these guys and girls that have been practicing swimming, and I was watching one of the competitions the other day, and I guess they call them butterfly strokes, and it was insane at how these people are swimming and the work and the effort that they have put into this. And then you had the basketball and the soccer, the archery, the shooting. I mean, you have so many different competitions that are taking place at the Olympics where the entire world comes together and they compete. And the Olympic Committee there in Paris took all of the eyes off of that and put it onto a bunch of drag queens. To me, that is sickening. You have people that are not even watching, the Olympics, because now, the Olympic Committee has taken all of the attention off of these athletes and put it on a bunch of perverted drag queens. And let me just say it, they are perverted 100%. And so that is one of the things that to me is the most appalling. You have these athletes that are incredible athletes. I mean, I've watched some of these young ladies on the gymnastics. And the things that they are doing is remarkable. I was sitting in Arby's Sunday night after church, and I was watching, some of the reruns from they had it on the TV, and I was watching some of these reruns, from the Olympics, and I was amazed at some of the things that they were doing, especially the American team. And anytime one of the athletes from America was performing, of course, I would watch and pay attention. But the Olympic Committee took all of the attention off of them and put it onto these drag queens, which is sickening and appalling. Listen, I don't care if they were trying to depict, the Lord's Supper, it is sickening and appalling. If they were trying to depict some Greek gods, it was sickening and appalling. And they took all of the eyes, all of the attention off of these athletes and put it onto a bunch of drag queens. I find it appalling. You are here on God and Country, and I hope that you're having a wonderful day. And let me just say this. If we vote in somebody like Kamala Harris and and whoever her running mate's going to be, don't you think for a second that they're not going to welcome that trash right here into the Olympics in LA in 2028? That's the kind of mess that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and whoever she picks for her running mate, that's the kind of mess that those people are for. And I just want to let you know that over the course of the next 3 or 4 months, we need to be doing everything we can in our power to make sure that we get the vote out. And that's one thing I've been preaching and I've been saying for the last year here on my YouTube channel, and that is your vote counts. We've got to get the vote out. We've got to get people to the polls. That is very, very important. But let me just go back and say this again, just in case you missed what I was talking about earlier about the Olympics. Whenever it comes to these drag queens that they had out there, I don't know why they call them drag queens. They need to call them drag perverts, because that's exactly, what they are. Do I think that a man has a right to dress however he wants to dress? Yes. I mean, listen, he has that right to dress however he wants to dress. And I have the right to get on YouTube and Facebook as long as they allow me, because it's their platform to talk about it and to scream and holler against it. I've got that right. But people are to be smarter. This Olympic Committee, whoever, I don't know who picks the Olympic Committee, but whoever picks these people, they are to be smarter. They should have been smart to know that whenever they allow some mess like this, that they're going to take all the attention away from these athletes and they're going to put it on a bunch of perverted drag queens. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable that they would go that route. And I'm going to come back and say it again because it's a fact. Don't you think for a second that that's not exactly what Kamala Harris wants right here in America? That's why every Christian, that's why every conservative, that's why every Republican, that's why every single one of us need to do everything that we can in order to get out the vote. Now, let me just say this. Someone asked me the other day, they said, what is your biggest, I don't know the right word that they use, but your biggest concern whenever it comes to these drag queens at the Olympics? And I said, well, the first thing is, because you hear, well, these people are saying they're depicting the Lord's Supper. These people are saying they're depicting the Greek gods and all of this other mess. Listen, I oppose both of it. I mean, I oppose if they were trying to depict the Lord's Supper. Obviously, that's sickening and a disgrace, and those people one day will stand before God, and they will give an account. If they were trying to depict Greek gods, I still oppose it, and I'm against it. They shouldn't have been doing that on national television in front of the entire world. But one of the biggest things that I have against what they were doing was that they took all of the attention off of these athletes, the greatest athletes in the world. I mean, the greatest athletes from America, the greatest athletes from China, the greatest athletes from, you just pick the country, Sudan. I mean, all of these countries are sending their greatest athletes to this place. These people have trained their entire life. And the Olympic Committee takes all of the attention off of them and puts it on a bunch of drag queens. That is unbelievable, in my opinion. It is sickening, and it's a disgrace. And that's just another reason, one of 1,000 reasons, why we have to do everything we can to get the vote out and defeat Kamala Harris and the bunch and the group of people that promotes that mess. Let me just say this as well. I know 2025 is fast approaching, and there's going to be a lot of races for city council, a lot of races for mayor. And then you go into 2026 and you have congressional races again. And then 2027, you have state senate, state rep, and then you have all your statewide offices running. I mean, there's a lot of things happening over the course of the next 2 to 3 years. I want to encourage some of you that are watching this show, I want to encourage you to run for office. Man, I think some of you need to run for office, whether it's in 2025, whether it's in 2026, whether it's in 2027. You need to be getting ready now. We need every conservative. We need every hand on deck, every conservative. Every single Christian that potentially could run for office. You need to start looking and thinking about, you running for office or getting involved, getting engaged in someone's election and help them get elected. I have several friends. I've been in conversations over the last week with probably 10 different people that are going to be running for office, whether in 25, 26, or 27. And that number is going to continually to increase and increase and increase. And I'm hoping that we can have all over Louisiana, all over Mississippi, all over Alabama, good conservatives, good Christians that are run for office. And not just that, but then also good people that will get engaged and help good people get elected in whatever state you're in. I realize that on YouTube and Facebook, some of you might be watching this and you don't live in Louisiana, Alabama, or Mississippi. But I want to encourage you to run for office. I want to encourage you to get involved, get engaged. We need you to run for office. If this is the first time you've ever watched one of my podcasts here on God and Country or on Facebook or wherever it is that you're watching this, I want to encourage you to share. It helps us get out our algorithm, and whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on YouTube here, whether it's on Rumble, wherever it is, Substack, I want to encourage you to share it, and it really helps us as far as whenever it comes to reaching and touching more people. I hope that my viewpoint of the Olympics, I hope that it kind of helped. I haven't seen a whole lot of people talking, about that particular issue of the Olympic Committee taking all of the eyes off of these athletes that have been training their entire life. And instead of keeping the eyes on them, this Olympic Committee made it about themselves, and they made it about these drag queens, which is, in my opinion, appalling and sickening and a disgrace. May we keep our attention on these athletes and all of the work that they have done and all of the work that they have put in their entire life to get up in front of the entire world and compete for their country. May God bless you, and may God continue to bless the United States of America.